The world is about to witness something it hasn't seen in over half a century, a human mission returning to the moon. This is Artemis II, the first crewed lunar flight since the era of Apollo missions. But this time, it's not just about reaching the moon, it's about staying there. Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, Jeremy Hansen will step into the future aboard NASA's most powerful rocket ever built, the Space Launch System, carrying the Orion spacecraft into deep space. Their mission will last just 10 days, but what they prove could define the next century of human exploration. Scheduled for late 2025, it begins on launch day at Kennedy Space Center. The crew suits up, undergoes final checks, and boards their transport to Launch Complex 39B. Towering above them stands a 322-foot giant, fueled, loaded, and waiting. Inside the rocket, over 700,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen and oxygen are pumped into the core stage. Every system is checked, every signal verified. Then the countdown begins. At T-minus 12 seconds, hydrogen burn-off igniters fire, a brief flash beneath the engines. 6 seconds later, the 4 RS-25 engines roar to life, and at 0, the clamps release. With 8.8 million pounds of thrust, Artemis II tears away from Earth. The ground shakes, the sky ignites, humanity rises once again toward the moon. Within 2 minutes, the massive solid rocket boosters burn out and separate, falling back toward the ocean. The core stage continues pushing the crew higher, faster, until space itself begins to take hold. At 3 minutes, protective panels are jettisoned, revealing Orion's solar arrays. Seconds later, the launch abort system is discarded, no longer needed. The crew has reached orbit. 8 minutes after launch, the engines shut down. Silence replaces the thunder. Orion separates, floating free above Earth. Moments later, its solar arrays unfold, 4 wings stretching into the sunlight, powering the spacecraft for the journey ahead. After a full orbit around Earth, the upper stage ignites again, pushing Orion into a higher orbit. For nearly 24 hours, the astronauts test every system: life support, navigation, communication, ensuring the spacecraft can survive the deep space environment. Then comes a critical moment. Orion separates and performs a proximity operations test, maneuvering around the spent rocket stage. Using only cameras and direct sight, astronauts manually guide the spacecraft, rehearsing the skills needed for future docking missions around the moon. Once complete, the data is analyzed. Every system must be perfect, because what comes next leaves no room for error. Roughly 23 hours after launch, the service module fires its engine in a powerful burn known as translunar injection. In that moment, Artemis II escapes Earth's gravity and begins its journey to the moon. For the next 4 days, the crew travels deeper into space than any human has gone in over 50 years. Their path forms a massive figure 8, stretching more than 230,000 miles from Earth. As they approach the moon, they pass beyond it, traveling over 4,600 miles past the far side, a place no human has seen with their own eyes since the Apollo era. For a brief time, communication with Earth is lost. The spacecraft disappears behind the moon, completely alone. Then it emerges. Pulled by Earth's gravity, Orion begins its return, a precise free return trajectory that requires no additional fuel. The journey home has begun. 4 days later, the spacecraft approaches Earth at nearly 25,000 miles per hour. At the edge of the atmosphere, the crew module separates from the service module, preparing for re-entry. At 75 miles above Earth, Orion hits the atmosphere. Plasma builds around the capsule as temperatures reach nearly 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The heat shield absorbs the inferno, protecting the crew inside. Gravity pushes back with crushing force, up to 4 times normal weight. every second matters. Then, at just the right moment, parachutes deploy in sequence. First, small drogues stabilize the capsule. Then pilot chutes pull free the massive main parachutes. 3 giant canopies open, slowing Orion from hundreds of miles per hour to less than 20. After traveling nearly 600,000 nautical miles, the mission ends with a splash. Orion lands in the Pacific Ocean, where recovery teams from NASA and the US Navy rush to secure the capsule. Divers approach, the hatch opens. For the first time in 10 days, the crew steps back onto Earth. This is more than a mission. It is a test of everything required to send humans farther than ever before, back to the moon and beyond. Because Artemis II is not the destination. Artemis II is just the beginning. Do you think we'll have a base on the moon by 2030? Let me know in the comments. And if you love space exploration, subscribe for more.